so as we get started here, the first part, we're going to subtract 3 on both sides, or on all 3 sides, I guess I should say. And we're left with negative 10 is less than or equal to 4x, which is less than or equal to 16. And we're going to divide by 4, and we're left with negative 5 halves less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 4. Negative 5 halves, 0, and 4. We're going to close the dot. Close the dot because it's less than or equal to. And there's our graph. When you have an inequality with an absolute value sign, if it's less than, you can create a combined statement. But when it's greater than, we flip the inequality and make the number negative. And then we just copy the problem without the absolute value. And basically what we're saying is if I can get a number in the absolute value less than negative 36, so something like negative 50. Negative 50 in the absolute value is greater than 36. Obviously any number bigger than 36, the absolute value is going to be bigger than 36. So that's why we have the 2 inequalities here. We subtract 24 on both sides and we get negative 60. We divide by 6 and we get negative 10. We subtract 24 on both sides and we get 12. We divide by 6 and we get 2. This is our answer. Negative 10, 0, 2. Open dot on the negative 10 going to the left. Open dot on the 2 and we're going to the right. There's our answer. For this one, we're going to subtract 4x on both sides. Negative 5y is greater than negative 4x plus 15. And we're going to divide negative 5 on both sides. When you divide by negative, the inequality flips, and you're left with 4/5 x minus 3. Now I need to graph that line. My y-intercept is negative 3. And up, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we use dotted lines. Now, once we graph the line, now I need to shade. I'm going to put 0, 0 in for my x and y. And I'm going to be left with 0 is greater than 15. That's false. So when we're false, we shade away. And that's our answer. 1. They want to know first how this graph is translated. That's I can spell translate. Translation is simply down 5. That's the translation. Okay? There's no movement along the x-axis. We're just going down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They want 3 points. Start with your vertex, 0, negative 5. I'm going to count up by 1 and down by 1. So negative 1 and 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. The absolute value of 1 is 1. 1 minus 5 is 4. So 1, negative 4, negative 1, 4. And there's your graph. So basically, when you're looking to find the vertex here, it's negative b over 2a, and then the function of negative b over 2a. Which is essentially this. We need to know that my a is 3, my b is negative 12, and my 6 is c. We should know that from the general ax squared plus bx plus c formula. Now my y-intercept is 6. The y-intercept is always the constant. Okay. To get my vertex, I need to plug these numbers in. So it's negative 12 over 2 times 3. The double negative makes it positive, so 12 over 6 is 2. So the x coordinate of my vertex is 2. now, I plug 2 in for x. 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus 6. 2 squared is 4. I deal with the exponent first. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24 plus 6. So 12 minus 24 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 6 is a negative 6. So that's the y coordinate of my vertex. And the axis of symmetry is always whatever the x coordinate of the vertex is. X equals that y. You guys have it. Now when I go to graph it, 2, negative 6 right here. My y-intercept of 6 is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went over 2. I'm going to go over 2 over here. And that's my graph. And my line of symmetry just comes right down the middle going through that vertex point. When I factor, there's no GCF. I go right to the parentheses. What are my factors of 40 that can combine to be a negative 3? Minus 8 plus 5. So x minus 8 equals 0, x equals 8. X plus 5 equals 0, x equals a negative 5. These are our answers. For completing the square, I need to get a 1 in front of my x squared. So I divide everything by 3. X squared plus 4x minus 6 is my new problem. So, x squared plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. I need to move the constant over. X squared plus 4x equals 6. Then we take half of 4 and square it. And I add that number to the other side. I factor this. X plus 2 squared equals 10. Take the square root of both sides, and I'm left with x plus 2 equals plus or minus root 10. And we subtract it. X equals a negative 2 plus or minus root 10. That's completing the square. Okay, so here, with quadratic formula, once our equation, our trinomial is equal to 0, we can write what our A, what our B, and what our C is. When I plug them in, negative 1 plus or minus negative 1 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 12 over 2 times 3. Negative 1 is 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 12 is 144. All over 6. Now, if you can simplify root 145, you should do it. 145 can't be simplified on the radical. 5 is the lowest prime number that goes into it. It's 29. No number comes out twice. So that's literally your answer. You can stop right there. In this case here, 7 minus a negative 2 is 9, so it's x to the 9th. 3 minus a 1 is 2, so it's y squared, and everything to the 4th. So that's x to the 36th, y to the 8th. That's my answer. Synthetic division. Negative 1 is 1, negative 5, 7, and negative 10. Drop the first term. We multiply and we add. We multiply and we add. We multiply and we add. Remainder constant x squared. So my answer is x squared minus 6x plus 13 minus 23 over x plus